permits, all everything that you have to do. And I know that this has been discussed, and I believe that Mr. Blanton might have some ideas as well. I'm bringing this up just as a general idea to put on everyone's radar, but I would like this board to consider, if we have the appropriate funds and feel comfortable doing it, looking at an amphitheater or stage type setup that is a permanent fixture, so that we can get away from these rentals of stages, which takes up that we have to put in our parking lot, which utilizes our parking spaces and all that. I had a potential idea of looking at the space behind the community center. I believe you may have another idea that I would certainly think would be a good option. But I just think that we need to explore this, and I'm talking to Ms. Oser. She's saying that that probably be best, for some TIF funds. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. But it's something that we saw movie night at Caluga. We've seen these bands and more people post-COVID. When I attended the OTA, the Ohio Township Association conference, they talked about this as a priority of trying to get outside entertainment and bringing families in. And I think that it's just something that we should explore. I don't have a specific proposal right now, but again, I did talk to Dana and Becker, and I think that we need to look at it, because if we're doing anything up here, we're going to have the roundabout all. I mean, it's going to be a mess during 2023. It would be great while we have some of this torn up to look at our space up here if we're going to do that. And frankly, there's football courts and tennis courts and all that other stuff down at West Park and other places. I just think now is the time to look into that. One of my other ideas besides an amphitheater is a park. And I know it seems like we're busting at the seams with parks, but frankly, we are a residential community, and we have a lot of families. And every weekend that there's a nice day, I've said this before, we're taking our kids to parks. Besides West Park, this past week we went to Fernbank Park, which is enormous. It's about 10 times the size as our play set area down at West Park. It's great. One of the other places we've been is West Fork Park out in Green Township. And that's a destination park where people literally come from several communities around that area just to go to West Fork Park. So I am proposing that we look or explore this field right out here that is utilized in the spring for softball and baseball and things like that. But other than in the springtime, I don't see it used a whole lot. I think that we could potentially look at a nice year-round large park with something unique, some unique feature to it, and it could draw in these families that want to come up here, walk our trail on the back, play with the kids on the park. This is our downtown. When people say, where is Miami Township, they think of this building right here. And there's Cleves, our park down there, which frankly I hear some people say that's Cleves Park or that's Three Rivers School Park or whatever else, even though it's our park, just because of its proximity. I would like to draw more people to come here to where they're walking across the street and having lunch or having dinner and doing things. So again, I guess
you propose you doing away with the ball?
Well, I want us to discuss it. I want us to look at it. I think that with the expansion of West Park, with the 12 acres, is it 12 acres that we're getting down there? My understanding is that that could be additional space to add whatever. It could be for another ball field down there. I don't know. I just think something that's used year-round out here, again, especially if it has a unique feature, like Westport Park, when they put that in, they got all kinds of publicity, and people said, we're coming from, from Anderson and from Dearborn County, Indiana, and from all this stuff, and instead of everybody going to Blue Ash or going to, elsewhere, they could come right here to our community and see our gorgeous building, and then now it's what about that? Maybe I want to rent that space that looks great and walk around the back. I don't know. It's just things I've explored, again, and I wanted to see what you guys thought, and whether we look at public hearings, whether we look at just having, some discussions at future meetings. But I don't want it to just drag on, because I think time, these things don't happen overnight. And frankly, if we come up with something in the next 2 or 3 months, and look at it, putting it out in the fall and all that other stuff, we're already into the 2023, which again is in line with where there's going to be that construction anyway. Let's just knock it out and look really nice coming out of the 23 season. This is just my thought.
Yeah, I'm thinking, we can't get employees now. Maintenance department is an issue now. We got the same size maintenance department we had forever. We've increased road knowledge in this township, parks in this township, building in this township. Just, I think a good idea. I think that the playground area down West Park is, the amphitheater was on the original plans for this building. It was to be built in the back end here. Amphitheater would be out on that side, and the east side, it wasn't feasibility of retaining wall and everything wasn't worth it. But now it might be worth it. I know there's a lot of young kids that use this up here, and they have forever. I don't know who the coach is up there. But moving them down there, they could keep everything down in one area. It's lots of questions.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And again, we certainly would have to flush it out. But like at Westport Park, that is all that cushiony. There's no grass. There's no. Literally, the entire thing is all that cushiony, foamy, whatever material it is. So that's one of the things that they rave about, is that there's little to no maintenance.
But that's required, I think. You mean it might be required to have that cushion underneath, depending on how high up you're off the ground, the kids are off the ground. I don't think you can have just dirt or sodding.
I just got a good idea. I got a couple of thoughts. My thoughts about up here, taking that field away, I'm not real big on that, because I like baseball and softball, but we do utilize that in the concerts. That's another thing.
Right, because if we do the amphitheater somewhere else, then
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
it wouldn't need that.
Right, but if you take that field up and then we have an event in here, say Saturday afternoon, and that's filled up out there, it's not, I don't think there's very much parking out there at all. That's just my thoughts. I'm not against it, I'm just throwing stuff out there we need to think and talk about and discuss. I'm not against it at all, but I hate taking a baseball or softball field out, especially a small one for little kids. That's just my thing on it. The amphitheater, though, I know you talked about up here. The one I'm talking about down there, and I did bring it up with Aaron Becker, I talked to Dan about it a little bit. It's just thoughts, but if we put it in that field by the ballpark, where we already have electric, we already have restrooms, we already have everything we pretty much need there, except the amphitheater itself, where, I'm sorry,
Down to Westport.
Lyman Township, Westport, yeah. By the concession stands.
Between a concession stand and the dog park?
Yeah, the concession stand would be here, like it says here in the big field, and then the dog parks would space, very big green space that runs downhill, where people could still see no matter where you sit in that big open field. That open field of board, I know 300 or 400 people is not enough. We gotta look at what we have down there. We got restrooms already, we got electric already, we got parking already. We could extend the parking, maybe with the school, with the agreement with the school, we could put parking on the other side of it. It's just things I've been thinking about too. So, I mean, it's all doable. We're trying to see what we're gonna do with these pickleball courts. We're working on the park out at, before Ridge, East Miami. And then the extension of Miami Township Park. Then the amphitheater is coming right after that. I'm all good with it. We just need to see, I guess we need to start discussing at every meeting and talk about it and see where we want to go with this. So, but I think it's a good idea. I'm not opposed to anything. So the big, the big thing down there would be parking, the restrooms are already there, the electric's already there, the majority of the things we need, and the elevation too. That's a big thing where, and I think easy in, easy out versus Shady Lane and Bridgetown in East Miami or right. So, you know, there's a lot of, I think, good things we can do down there. I think we can have, you know, I'm just one here, you know, multiple, but maybe a band on Friday, a band on Saturday, maybe something like that. I don't know, I'm just saying, since we would have so much room down there. So it's just something we can think about and talk about and discuss.
Sure, and that's why I brought it up, is just to get the creative juices flowing and get people talking about it, because I think, you know, if we wait on it and drag our feet, that,
Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to think my words to Mark. I've asked him if I know I mentioned it to him, and they can start thinking about it and looking at it and just see what they think we're going to do.
yeah,
We can do the same for up here also.
I actually had a proposal from them, from John, who's a colleague of Mark's, for looking up here and doing some renderings and some public outreach and getting public input and everything else. But I didn't want to bring that forward because I don't even know if we need, I don't know, I think this board needs to decide beforehand what direction it's going, if we're even, what we're looking at where, what we would even want them to, if they are in fact who is going to handle it, you know, what they're going to put together for consideration. Again, with everything you're saying, I'm also open to down there. My only thing, and I'll just repeat, is that to me, this is Miami Township here, and that is our park. That is, I mean, it has our seal, it has everything, but I think that there's a perception that this is Cleves, this is Three Rivers, this is the school, this is all that. Whereas I'm just trying to drive interest, visibility, you know, civic pride, ownership here,